Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt tired? And I'm talking the tired that sleep, no matter how much sleep you do, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever, 14 hours, it just doesn't fix it. You know, that kind of tired that's not only physical, but emotionally, mentally, even the smallest things feel like these huge boulders, these huge burdens that you have to take care of. And you can't quite explain why. If so, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not lazy, nothing's broken, you're not motivated, and you're not doing life wrong. Most advice for feeling tired sounds something like this: be more disciplined, stick to your routine, just push through. And sometimes that works. Absolutely, sometimes it works. But sometimes it makes things worse because when you're already feeling tired and you're exhausted, pushing harder does not restore your energy. In fact, you exert more energy and you can feel even more tired. It drains you even more. And you have, you know, only so much to give as it is. So you don't have much left over at that point. And that's why that doesn't work. And then people start to blame themselves for not being able to fix things. And there is this disappointment. And to keep up with all the advice that was never intended for exhaustion, it was never designed to make us feel exhausted. You know, there are different kinds of fatigues, and this is something that we don't really talk about very often. Not all tiredness is the same. You can be physically, fatigued. You could have had a long working day where you physically were active. You can be mentally overloaded. That's a totally other type of tiredness. Emotionally depleted, and that's totally different. That's different altogether. But when all three are happening at the same time, that's where generic solutions really miss the mark. We have to look at our own individual situation to figure out exactly what it is that we're near. Where do we feel? You can rest the body and still feel overwhelmed. Okay. You can clear your schedule and still feel emotionally heavy and burdened. And you can think positively and still feel drained, because what's needed isn't motivation. It's more about support and how you're supporting yourself. I see this most often with people who are highly responsible. They feel a sense of responsibility to take care of not only their own things, but also other people. They show up. They're the people that handle things. They're the go-to people in the family that everybody goes to, people in the office that everybody goes to handle things because they don't like to drop the ball. They are capable and they will do it even though they're tired. So when they are tired, they assume the answer is to manage better rather than, it's more about better planning or better habits or better mindset. And that could be true. But what's more than likely happening is that one part of themselves has been working in overtime for too long, usually the mind. I find that this is something that usually happens, is that the mind gets overactive, sometimes the emotions, but I've seen it more about the mind chatter. They start overthinking and overthinking and overanalyzing, and the body's just trying to keep up at this point. When it happens, you can do it for a little while, but then eventually the body starts catching up, and then you get really exhausted. So no matter how much sleep you get, no matter how much rest you get. And the thing about it is that many people aren't tired because they're doing too much. Yes, I know we all have busy schedules, but a lot of times it's because you're carrying too much internally. You're not talking about things that are burdening you. You're holding things together. You're managing your emotions. Maybe you're managing other people's emotions. You're anticipating outcomes, anticipating so many things, and you're staying composed all at the same time. That's exhausting. That really weighs heavy on you. And that kind of effort doesn't show up on a calendar, but it takes real energy in your real-time life. And when the effort goes unacknowledged, fatigue sets in. And sometimes this fatigue can really overwhelm you. It's very important that when the shift needs to happen is when you're mentally, emotionally, and physically tired. That pressure is not the solution. We need to back off. More effort isn't the solution. More rules aren't the solution. We need to support ourselves and find the support. So support looks like adjusting expectations instead of raising them. Okay, kind of easing, treating ourselves kinder, being more compassionate. It looks like listening instead of overriding, really tuning in with ourselves, finding out what's going on, what the problem is. And it looks like, choosing your steadiness and your calmness over your productivity. Sometimes, yes, we can be very productive, but it's not good to always be, even if it's just very briefly, not productive. It's not about giving up. You're not giving up at all. In fact, you are responding wisely. You are tapping into your own inner wisdom. You have the permission to adjust. I want you to consider this. What if your goal isn't to get your energy back by pushing? What if the goal is to stop draining yourself unnecessarily? What if you didn't need to become a different version of yourself in order to do this? You could do it with who you are right now. And what if you just needed to support the version of yourself that's already here and now? That question alone can change how you feel and how tired you feel, maybe, can really change that perspective. In the next video is our members only video in alignment with this series. And I get to the practical side of things, not theory, not, motivation. It's actual tools that will help support yourself during these periods of depletion that we all face from time to time. It's ways to check in without judgment. It's not to give you more things to do. It's about responding differently, learning how to respond differently in your life when you are experiencing these tired, exhausting times, especially whenever you are a high performer and you've got a lot of things that you need to do. It's good to learn how to apply these tools to help you be able to manage yourself so you don't have the tendency for burnout. If this conversation resonates with you, that's where we go deeper. And I would recommend that you join us there, become a member, subscribe to the channel, and become a member of our community. Before you go, I want to ask you something though. What kind of tired shows up for you most often right now? Just ask yourself, be honest with yourself. If it's physical, mental, emotional, or is it a mix of things? And what do you usually do when you notice it? Do you just override it? Do you push through? And I would like, if you feel comfortable, to share that in the comments below. You don't have to name it. You don't have to justify it or explain if you don't want to, not to fix it. We just want to recognize where that depletion is coming from. That awareness is where your support begins. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.